You've seen it happen, right? It's one of those things that just drives you absolutely nuts. You're out there working hard, you're playing by the rules, trying to be a good person, and somehow the worst people seem to be winning. It can make you question, well, everything. So today, we're going to dig into exactly why this happens, and way more importantly, how you can actually succeed without losing yourself in the process.
All right, let's just dive right in. This is the question, isn't it? The one so many of us wrestle with. It really feels like the whole game is rigged against decent people. Why does it seem like being ruthless gets you rewarded, while having integrity gets you left behind?
And let's be real, this isn't some hypothetical stuff, is it? We see it play out all the time. The person who flat out takes credit for your work, yep, they get the promotion. The influencer who is completely and utterly self-obsessed, they build a massive following. The executive who screws everyone over, walks away with a golden parachute. It's a pattern, and it's maddening. Okay, so to really get why this keeps happening, we first have to understand the game we're all playing. And the truth is, the rules of the game have totally changed, but our brains, our instincts, they haven't caught up. So this right here, this explains everything. It's why being a good person used to be the best strategy. Think about it. Back in a small world, like a village or a tight-knit community, your reputation was your currency. If you were a jerk, everyone knew it, and the consequences were immediate. Being decent wasn't just the right thing to do, it was strategic. But now, in our massive global world of huge corporations and anonymous internet platforms, those feedback loops are completely gone. Poof.
Our brains are literally wired for tribes of about 150 people. That's the scale we evolved for. We're biologically designed for a world where our actions have direct, visible consequences on people we know. So we are just fundamentally not equipped to deal with the sheer scale and the impersonal nature of modern life.
And this huge mismatch, right, between our old school brains and this new, massive world, well, it creates this giant blind spot in our morality. Seriously, think about this for a second. If you actually saw child labor happening right in front of you, you'd be horrified, right? You'd do something. But when it's hidden thousands of miles away behind some slick logo and a free shipping offer, our moral outrage just gets diluted. It gets lost in the noise. The complexity of these huge systems buries the emotional feedback that's supposed to tell us right from wrong.
And here's the crazy part. Even when our outrage does manage to break through, we often end up pointing it at the wrong thing. I mean, way more people die from boring old coal pollution every single year than from all the nuclear accidents in history combined. But what do we protest? Nuclear power. Why? Because it's dramatic, it's loud, it feels scary. Meanwhile, the systems causing the most harm have learned how to be quiet.
Okay, so if our moral compass is kind of broken in these huge impersonal systems, what kind of person does succeed? Well, turns out psychologists have a name for the playbook these people use. It's called the Dark Triad.
All right, first up in the triad, Machiavellianism. This is that person who sees life as one big chess game. And guess what? You're just a pawn on their board. They'll stir up drama, they'll play people against each other, and they'll lie without even blinking if it gets them ahead. In a small town, they'd get called out. But in a giant company, we end up calling it strategic brilliance. It's wild. Okay, next up, we've got narcissism. And look, a narcissist isn't just confident. They are operating on a whole other level. They are completely, unshakably convinced of their own superiority. And here's the really dangerous part. That insane level of belief, it's magnetic. It's contagious. They are masters at pulling people into their own delusion, building whole companies around the myth of their own genius.
And the last piece of the triad is psychopathy. This is all about a complete and total emotional void. We're talking zero empathy, zero guilt, zero fear. So while a normal person gets to a moral line in the sand and stops, they just walk right over it. Not because they're brave, but because for them, the line doesn't even exist. And in a cutthroat world, that can act like a twisted kind of superpower.
Okay, so hearing all that, you're probably thinking, great, so the secret to success is just to be a terrible person. But hold on, this is exactly where we get the story completely and utterly wrong. We're all falling for a massive myth.
And here is the big twist. It's true. You find way more of these personalities in CEO offices and in politics than in the general population. But you also find them massively overrepresented in one other place: prisons. See, this isn't a safe bet. It's a high-risk, all-or-nothing strategy that, more often than not, ends in a total train wreck.
And this leads to a huge distortion in how we see the world. And it's got a name: survivorship bias. We see that one flashy CEO who made it to the top. Their story is loud, it's on the cover of magazines. But what we don't see are the hundreds, maybe thousands of others with the exact same toxic traits who crashed and burned, and took their entire companies down with them.
So here's the key. The thing you have to remember. Failure doesn't trend, only success does. Our brains get tricked. We think this playbook works because we only ever see the one winner who crossed the finish line. The countless failures, they're silent. They're invisible. So we're learning a lesson from a totally skewed dataset.
And you want to know the dirty little secret for the few who actually win playing this game? They are often profoundly miserable. Yeah, they built an empire, but it's built on a foundation of lies and manipulation. They get to the top of the mountain and find out they're all alone, totally hollowed out, and surrounded by people who secretly can't stand them. They get everything they thought they wanted, only to realize they hate the person they had to become to get it.
So, if the Dark Triad playbook is just a high-stakes gamble that leads to misery, what's the alternative? Do good guys just have to finish last? No. It's not about being naive or a pushover. It's about being smarter. It's about having a better playbook for winning with your integrity intact.
And this playbook has 3 core strategies. Let's break them down, one by one.
First up, practice compassion over empathy. Now these sound similar, but they're worlds apart. Empathy is when you feel someone else's pain so much that you're suffering with them. Compassion is when you understand their pain and are motivated to actually help. Think of it this way. Empathy sees someone in quicksand and jumps in with them. Now you're both stuck. Compassion sees them, stays on solid ground, and finds a rope. It's about being effective, not just emotional. It lets you help without getting drained or taken advantage of.
All right, number 2. And this one's a tough pill to swallow. You have to stop seeking universal approval. Here's a kind of shocking truth. Wanting everyone to like you is actually its own little form of narcissism. It makes everything about you and how other people see you. Constantly worrying what everyone thinks just paralyzes you. Real integrity means accepting that if you're doing anything important, some people aren't going to get it, and that has to be okay.
And the final piece of the playbook, you have to speak up, even when you're not 100% sure. Because here's how the world actually works. It doesn't reward the person who is quietly right in the corner. It rewards the person who is seen, the person who is in the arena. Staying silent because you're afraid of being wrong is a guaranteed way to become invisible. Look, one great idea will make everyone forget 1,000 bad ones, but you'll never find that great idea if you aren't willing to put yourself out there.
So, at the end of the day, success without integrity, it just isn't winning. It's a hollow victory. Because the real price you pay for any success is who you have to become to get there. So the question isn't just, how do I win? The real question, the one that truly matters, is who am I becoming along the way?